Good afternoon. Hi, this is Jack Ames, the founder of Defend Life. We're here for our 25th annual Maryland Face the Truth Tour here in historic Hagerstown at St. Mary's Church.
Move forward just a little bit.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Is that better?
That's much better.
Okay. Thank you, Mark, our wonderful videographer, who's a celebrity in the pro-life movement. That's Mark Repke. You can't see him, though. But you get to see me. So I'm Jack Ames, the founder of Defend Life. We started it 38 years ago. We are grassroots pro-lifers. We do what other pro-life groups don't want to do. We go out and we show what abortion is. We have great speakers like the one you're about to hear. We do other things. We have a great publication, Defend Life. Go to defendlife.org. But we're here in historic Hagerstown, Maryland, at St. Mary's Catholic Church that goes way back in the early 1700s. I just looked at a cornerstone. You know what the date on the cornerstone was? It was July the 4th, 1826. Who can tell me what happened 50 years before that date? Yes.
Was it John Adams died?
You're getting warm.
Well, they both died on that same day.
The Declaration of Independence was signed. But yeah, you're right. You're right about that too.
Adams and Jefferson.
Very, very good. Okay, so anyway, listen up, please. This will be this first official day of our Maryland Face the Truth Tour. We just had a great stop here in Hagerstown, showing the victim images of aborted babies. Lots of honking going on. And that's what pro-lifers around the country need to do, show what abortion is. As Father Frank Bravone says, until America sees abortion, America will not reject abortion. So that's what we'll be doing the rest of this week. Now, before I introduce today's speaker, tomorrow we're having a lady by the name of Angela Clark. She's at her head of the Best Choice Pregnancy Center. They do ultrasound there in Northern Virginia. She'll be our speaker tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Tune in to the same address, facebook.com/We Defend Life. Tell your friends they can do it too. She'll be giving a fascinating talk. And then on Wednesday, Father Dennis Wild, Augustinian, will be speaking about our new Pope, Leo XIV. He's been a friend of mine for about 30 years. Great, great priest. He's celebrating Mass for us on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. He's also the greatest priest pianist in the world. If you ever want to have a great piano concert at your church, invite Father Dennis Wild, who lives on the Villanova campus. And then on Thursday, we're having a lady by the name of Lauren Handy. She was one of the Biden 9 or the Garland 9, was incarcerated for 2 years because she did the right thing. You've heard the expression, no good deed goes unpunished. She's a great example of that. She'll be our speaker on Thursday. And then on Friday, we have Heather Keene coming all the way from Boston, talking about Baby Match, an exciting way to take women who are attempting to have abortions and help them turn those abortions into adoptions using social media. She calls it Baby Match. Now let me tell you about our speaker today, Dr. John Bruchalski. Great man who got involved in abortions early on because it was the thing to do. And then he broke. And he started the Tepeyac Center in Northern Virginia, reaching out and saving many, many lives and giving free medical care to anybody, any expectant woman, not only during their pregnancy, but afterwards. He's a great man. He's spoke hundreds of times all across the country. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. John Bruchalski. Oh, you're too kind.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful to be here today. My name is John Bruchalski, and I've been a friend of Jack Ames for several decades. And it's been a delight to be invited to be here with this Face the Truth tour. On this poster here so many people. Congressman Chris Smith is a friend, goes to the same church, grew up in Jersey, great guy. Sister Dee Dee I've worked with. The list just goes on. Steve Mosier, Vicki Thorne, Joan Andrews Bell, Bill Hogan. This is the practice that I joined when I left my residency. Back in 1991 to 1993, we worked at Holy Cross Hospital in Silver Spring, Maryland. Bob Marshall is a friend from Northern Virginia. Chris Slattery, God rest his soul, another dear friend. This movement builds friendship and hospitality. And everybody who just looked at me and held me and hugged me and shook my hand and helped me get into the building, thank you so much. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Come, Holy Spirit. Come, Holy Spirit. Fill the hearts of the faithful and enkindle in them the fire of the Lord. Send forth thy Spirit, and who shall be created? And you shall renew the face of the earth. Amen. Nancy, Olga, for the souls of the faithful departed, to the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen. Jack, thank you. DJP, thank you for the organization. It's amazing to be here in St. Mary's. My daddy grew up in Baltimore, up the street here, down the road. But I was a history major. And being along Antietam Creek at a moment in time where another civil war is going on right now in this nation, and bombs are being dropped. This is a moment in time for Face the Truth. He's been, this is 38 years. Jack, that's tremendous. At Tepeyac OBGYN, it's been 30 plus years. I've been practicing medicine for 40 years as an OBGYN and a midwife. I'm also grateful to the Whitakers in the back, who I've known since I moved to the area. Not only did they love on me and come to our practice in Maryland, but I had a chance to be that midwife that I always wanted to be in their home late one night delivering a baby in their bed. And oh, by the way, they lived about 50 miles away from us, but Carolyn and I, my wife and I, made it on time. And as always, caught the little one. But the miraculous part about that was there was no bleeding after that delivery. And that young child is now an adult. Really tremendous, really tremendous. Yes, and so I've practiced medicine for 40 years. From medical school starting, working in Appalachia, being on the other side of this issue, because yeah, people, this is all paid advertisement for me. Yes, we have Tepeyac OBGYN in Fairfax, Virginia. Yes, we see the insured and the underinsured next to each other. We partner with regional pregnancy resource centers as part of our mission. They send us their tough cases. We're not a pregnancy center. I'm going to talk about how a pregnancy center was involved in a change of my heart. You learn to listen, learn, and love the other person. Because in the middle of practicing medicine and obstetrics and gynecology and midwifery, for me, it's about connecting in a way heart to heart that helps soften the person in front of me. It's a medical relationship. That's why I've been so enamored and proud to be a friend of Face the Truth. But as we educate more and more on what abortion is, the world has gotten harder, just like my heart did so many years ago. So not only do we partner with pregnancy resource centers, but we do fertility awareness. We do body literacy. We empower women to see the beauty and the power of their body so they have a safe space with us, not Planned Parenthood. because I see them in the office at the moment. It's not out of the clinic. So I'm so grateful for what you do and how you do it and why you do it. But I get a chance to do ultrasounds on these women, and over the many decades, they get numb to these pictures. And after you show them the heartbeat, it's, where can I have my abortion? So, once again, in this place called Tepeyac and Divine Mercy Care, that's our nonprofit umbrella, we care for those folks. But I also do a lot of stress work. I do a lot of thyroid, hormonal hacking. Not only did Condoleezza Rice send her folks to us, she's a conservative woman from Stanford, her State Department people, but after her, Hillary Clinton sent her people to us because we do good medicine. And we ask really interesting questions in our way. And there have been changes of heart from that subgroup to the life side. Because you're meeting them where they are, and you're trying to invite them into a conversation. Because, once again, I've gone across the country with Students for Life, and people throw things at you, or come up and cast spells over you. So the Dominicans in Seattle had to pray over me, so when they threw the liver, it wouldn't stick. Or their curses, or their language, the angry folks from the Northwest. So this is real warfare here. Now, once again, what I'm going to talk about is my change of heart in the next little bit, and the type of medicine we practice today. But once again, modern men and women, modern woman and man, convince themselves that they can live no longer under the gaze of God. They've let it go. We're free to make up our own criteria for morality. Yeah, I just have to be true to myself, my body, my choice. I just have to follow what I believe. That's what's prevalent. Because back in the day, I'm 65, or almost, patient autonomy, bodily autonomy, excuse me, my body, my choice, equality, I'm equal to a man. I should be able to have relations, I should be able to get angry, leave them, punish them, use them, just like men do to women. And then lastly, it's about this freedom to do what I please when I want to have, when I need it. And this is kind of the challenge. This is what was happening in the 50s and 60s. And in the middle of that, we now have abortion. We now have multiple other issues where we're shutting off women's brains all the time just so they can have control of their fertility rather than collaboration, cooperation, and conversation about the miracle of their human body. And so what we learned about is that conscience is about the inside. It's about your heart, it's about your mind. But when language and logic no longer take precedence, you got to learn to love. You have to learn to witness on the sidewalk with the images because it's good for folks. You love them and care about their eternal life enough and their bodily life on this earth to do this. I know the young people in the back, when I was walking in with them, they were so kind. One of the young ladies back there has a new child. Truly amazing. Yeah, I know, she just stepped out. But it's that witness. It's we have folks back here from UCLA, Southern California. Amazing, tremendous. Witnessing and living this message on the campus. Love it. Absolutely encouraging to someone like myself. And so, remember, we're now post-Roe. And yet the number of abortions is ticking upwards. 1.1 million. Not 1.6 at the highest. But we still don't have a good count on these numbers. But they're going up. Why? Anybody back there? Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
Teleabortion.
Yeah, teleabortion, telehealth, chemical abortions. And because of the way that we are now treating abortion, we are no longer punishing, elective abortion, what we argue about, is about something that is legal in certain states, done by a practitioner, no longer a physician. It can be done by nurses, it depends. Why is that? If abortion is so good, why don't more doctors do it? Anybody? Yes, sir.
I think it was bad for business, and it's kind of a dirty thing.
It's
It's
a
supposed to be saving lives.
Correct.
They know what it
Well,
really is.
yes, and that's what I'm going to talk about in my own heart. You're spot on, brother. And thank you so much for all you've done for this work. I can tell you it's also because of the images. I'm post-abortal. Because for the first 2 years of my residency, and only those first 2 years, I never worked for Planned Parenthood. I was never an abortionist. I was just a good old OBGYN resident. And I'm Polish, man. I grew up in an incredible Christian Catholic family in northern New Jersey. We were Bible strong. We were sacramentally strong. My daddy was a prep school teacher, history, Constitution, anti-communist. He took classes to the March for Life. That was me.
Wow.
So what happens is, and people go, how could you have done this? It's really easy. My family thought that my educational system was going to support it, the family way, because we were going to Catholic schools. 1965, Bridge Over Troubled Waters, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, those were mass songs. God is love. Love is free. Yeah, go up to Woodstock and listen to Jimmy riff on his left-handed guitar. As C.S. Lewis would say, or many folks, inch by centimeter by centimeter by centimeter by centimeter by centimeter, Johnny was in the slop. And that's why I don't throw stones at a lot of folks, because I'm on that side. I mean, that was me, except for the grace of God. And for all of you people here who prayed for people like me, all of you, the homeschoolers, praying for people, my change of heart. It's not an argument to be won. It's a heart to be softened. Because I can tell you, when you do the little abortions, the babies that are real small, there's no bones. There's no bones. But they are fearfully and wonderfully made. You can tear them up with suction or with forceps. And it's easy to do, but horrible to see. The blood, the reality. You know what you're doing, but they start you with the little ones. Now they're using papaya experiences, taking out the seeds of this fruit, as if that's all it was. Why don't you think if it's so good, why don't more doctors do it? After 50 years of Roe, do you know only 7 to 17% of all OBGYNs do surgical abortions? The reason for me, it was because it was brutal. And when you do it early on, you have to steel yourself. Because I could hear my mom and dad pro-life march. But I listened to women, my patients. I'm really good at it. Even though I'm an old white guy, I can tell you that I'm a really good gynecologist, a really good midwife. Why? Because I listen to you. Johnny, something's not right here. I'm gaining weight. I'm losing my hair. I'm getting a little depressed. Oh my gosh, I have a breech. We do breeches. We can deliver you vaginally. It's okay. I listen to you. That's what was influencing me. I grew up in a great Polish family. We were all butchers. I smelled like garlic until the age of 15. So making kielbasa in my uncle's store. What happens is that I listened. And you said you needed abortion for you to be happy, fulfilled, successful, equal, bodily autonomy. Okay. I didn't want to dump it off on somebody, so I did it. I wanted to liberate all of you from the chains of your fertility. I love it. Perfect timing, young man. It's a young man, right?
Yes.
Great. Because as I'm up here talking, it's provoking for me. I don't enjoy, this is hard. But I want to educate, I want to encourage, I want to exhort. I want to hear that noise. Because life cannot be, love and life cannot be held down. Whether you do it through music, or whether you do it through medicine, or whether you do it through activism, life thrives. And that little one is proving it. I love it. So there I was, and now after the first trimester you go on, and the bones start to become formed with calcium, 10, 11, 12 weeks. And then you have to count body parts. So after you do it, you then have to look at the tissue. And it sets in. And then you justify it. And you're in the slop. And you keep moving further and further away. Because there are no witnesses back then. Nobody came up and said, hey, dude, what the hell are you doing? That's why I'm so encouraged by this present generation, especially the young people, being right in the college community, right in the schools, right in the medical schools, right in our secular schools, let alone our Christian, Catholic, religious schools. No. To engage in conversation and eye-to-eye contact and friendship. It's beautiful. I'm so grateful. And then you keep moving on further and further, and you end up dismembering 3-pound infants, disarticulating, tearing off arms. And then you end the lives of Down syndrome children. I still remember my cousin telling me one Thanksgiving, hey, Johnny, am I an endangered species? I was a weasel. I didn't tell him that I was doing abortions. Of course not, Jim. You're not an endangered species. Yeah, I hear they kill people like me before I get born. I didn't have the guts enough to talk to him about it. Because once your heart goes, your mind gets dark and your will gets weak. You don't love. You become avoidant. So, there I am in the slop, and lo and behold, I'm driving to the beach one night to clear my head, because remember, like Solzhenitsyn says, good and evil run through the human heart. It runs right through here. Good and evil. And that the Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, a sinner. Yeah. All the time. Help me not to sin. Kind of forget that part for a while. I'm driving back from the beach to clear my head one night, and I'm driving by, it says, Pregnancy Resource, Crisis Pregnancy Center. I pull in, not knowing what it was. I walk in, and a church group is running the place, and they're holding hands saying, oh, dear Daddy, whoever comes in here tonight, we are going to take care of them. We're going to provide. We're going to overcome their obstacles. We're going to show them about you. We're going to bring them to you, Lord. What? Amazing. Amazing. Because I'm not going to church at this point. 4 years of college, 4 years of medical school, 2 years of residency. No way. This doesn't make any sense. You know, I'm not going to do this. Wow. Look at this. You mean there's another way not to offer abortion as good care? Wow. I drive back, and all of a sudden, on labor and delivery, the data's coming in. Abortion and breast cancer. Abortion and preterm birth. Abortion and mental illness. The data's there. And that's when people like you all in the blue shirts, young folks, young women, hey, John, what the hell are you doing? You're doing abortions? You've got to be joking me. First people outside of my family that said that. So I'm getting witnessed to, the data's coming in, and this is what happens late one night. On labor and delivery, two women walk in at the same time. Anybody know how many weeks is a term birth? How much?
39.
39, close enough, that's great. 39, 40, love it. They were 23 weeks. Back in the day, when viability for me back then was only 27 weeks, and we were at a great center at Eastern Virginia. But remember, by this point, I'm already harvesting eggs to make embryos because we were the home of the first IVF child in this country. That's why I went there. Did you own the embryo or did you love it? Was it your child or was it your property? Because we started freezing them back then. We were also the center that received from Hopkins the transgender surgical department because we had good plastic surgeons. So I was beginning to do sex changes, mutilations. Because once again, folks, when you start leaning into this, you end up in the slop. Because every moment is a gift from Christ. Every moment. All things work to the good to those who are called according to his purpose. You complete in your body what he started on the cross. Colossians 1:24 and Romans 8:28. It's real. He's in every moment. He's there waiting for you to turn to him. That night, two ladies, 23 weeks, in labor, ready to have a baby. In one room I walk in and she's like, "Oh, John, please help. I can't give this baby up tonight. This is my baby." It's okay, Jenny. We're good. I've got medicine. I've got natural means. We're going to stop your labor. You're not infected. I'm going to give you a little antibiotics, but we'll stop it real quick. That baby went on to stop labor and went on to live. In the very next room, at the same gestational age, 23 weeks, the baby is about as big as this book. I walk in the room and I'm like, oh, I recognize the woman from my clinic. "Hey, Mary, get it out of me." "Mary, what?" "Mary, I haven't even talked to you yet." "Remember, John, it's on demand. Get it out of me." Mary, "John, you're good at this. I know you are. Just end it. I'm not in a good relationship. I'm in a bad place. I'm going to kill my..." Okay. Broke water, gave her Pitocin, and blew the kid out. I caught it in a bucket. And it started crying. Alive. This is called a failed abortion. Now remember, God's mercy. I'm doing this because I want you to understand the challenge that's inside what our doctors are facing and what happened to me. So, I catch it in the bucket, it starts crying and making noise. So what does Dr. John do? What are we taught to do? Before it really hurts the mother because it's crying, and now her whole body is viscerally shaking. She's beginning to utter guttural noises deep from inside her. I found a lap pad that looked like my bandana, and I tried to suffocate the child. Because it can't live. It's not really alive. It's just making noise. It has no... She didn't want it. I didn't want it. The hospital didn't want it. That's why when they gut legal protection for life and leave it up between the doctor and the patient in that room, this is what happens. And this happens more than we know because it takes too much time to shoot the baby into the chest with potassium chloride or digoxin or in the fluid. Remember, we don't kill the baby before it comes out most of the time. Think of the abortionist up at Gosnell's clinic. He was snipping spinal cords with scissors because they were alive. This is the brutality. This is the reality. Why isn't abortion health care? Because it's brutal and it's barbaric. And we no longer care for 2 patients. We only care for 1. The baby starts crying. I'm trying to do mercy killing because I don't want her to suffer, but I pick it up because I'm still a good doctor, remember. I may have tried to murder this child, but you know, I'm still a good guy. I picked up the baby. It was a little too heavy. I threw it on the scale. 505 grams. In the state of Virginia, 500 grams, that's about 1.25 pounds. That's a human life. It goes to the pathology department, not as an appendix, but as a child. Because it's over 500 grams, I had to hit the button on the wall, call in the neonatal doctors, and they came rushing in. Live at the Improv. She takes one look at me, Dr. Debbie Plum. Dude, Dr. John, what the hell are you doing? You're treating my patients like tumor. Don't do that. You're better than this. Oh, by the way, have coffee with me in the morning. Discipleship 101. She called to question what I did. No holds barred. But then she wanted coffee. Because I was already digging in my heels. Don't you dare tell me how to take care of patients. I've delivered many babies at home. I do breaches. I'm really good at this. You make excuses. I'll tell you what happens when you stand before Christ in a little bit. She says, dude, you're so much better than this, man. They line up out of your clinic. You take care of people who have nothing. You make house calls. You follow up. You actually care about their diabetes. You don't cut episiotomies. Like, you are amazing. We love you. You're so good. And then you do crap like this. Listen, man, I just got back from Yugoslavia through Steubenville University. I found Jesus. You need to find Jesus. You need to find the Mother of God. Because I thought at one point you said you were Catholic. I said, yeah. I went to Fatima with my parents. Yeah, I have a soft spot in my heart for her, but not anymore. I mean, I'm past that. I said that. She goes, no, you need to go. You're better than this, and it's going to haunt you. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. 3 days later, my mom calls up and says, hey, Johnny, what are you doing for Christmas break? Winter break. Do you want to go to Yugoslavia with me? Sure. I went. On the hill over there. Didn't want to go. Didn't want to do any of this. On the hill, I'm beginning to pray. Because I have nowhere else to go, and all I'm saying is, God, if you're there, please. Mother, if you're here, please. All of a sudden, in my prayer, the birds, the roses. And in my prayer, I came face to face, heart to heart, with the Sacred and Immaculate Hearts. In my prayer. That's all it was. I fell on my face. I'm a man of unclean lips in a land of unclean lips. I saw my whole life pass before me. Everything. Everything. What I did, what I didn't do. And you're naked in front of him, and I look like a freaking leper. There's bits and pieces of me falling off me. My heart is about this big, and it's dark, and it's filled with black oil. And I'm face down on the rocks in my prayer. And the hand came and just gently lifted me up, and my hand went into her son's side in my prayer. This is what happens to all of us. This is nothing special. This is change of heart. When you've gone to the dark side, messiness attracts mercy. Messiness attracts mercy. Well, somehow, some way, I didn't quite get that growing up. My parents were wonderful. They were the best. Instantly, the Hail Mary came at him. Instantly, the Our Father. Instantly, the Glory Be, the Trinity. And you see your whole life pass before you, and I heard in my prayer, do you want to help my son renew the face of the earth in medicine? Yes. I want to come home, be excellent, see the underserved next to the served, and follow the teachings of my son's church. And when you get off the hill, go show yourself to one of those priests. Go back to confession. And confess from your heart. And learn to pray with your heart. And then she puts people like them in the back of my life. When no one else thought we would ever last more than a week, no, the Whitakers were there. They even planned with me a birthing center. Never came to fruition, but it didn't matter. At the time, I just needed fellowship, friendship. It was really another cenacle started. It was the book of Acts 2.0. That's what this is all about. I'm going to talk for about another 10 minutes. We'll get some questions. But this is what happened. I come off the hill. I go to the room, and I walk in, and there's my mom. She's crying. She never gave up on me. Never. My father, pro-life, anti-communist. I was a communist back in my day. I just said, the hell with it. I'm going to rebel. Wrong. My mom and dad never gave up on me. Zero. So any of you all who are having tough times with your family, your children, no, it's hope. It's God's mercy is greater than any freaking sin, any barrier, and if it's, he loves listening to mother's prayers. Loves it. Do whatever he tells you, they say. Okay. This is what Face the Truth Tour does. In their way, on the sidewalk, we're trying to instill truth. But as a doctor, I have to do it by creating a safe space so they will share with me their shame, their guilt, their control, their we educate in the office. We do ultrasounds in the office. We need more than that. Because we now have a lot of folks who don't like late-term abortion, but a lot of people are saying, oh no, abortion needs to be legal, whether in all these states that are voting on these ballot initiatives. Language matters, logic matters, but we are living in a world where it no longer seems, it's fungible. Mercy means mercy killing today. Think of the UK and their assisted suicide. Think of this country. Think of Canada. Yeah. But that's the beauty of it. This is the moment of her triumph. This is actually the moment where you focus on them, on prayer, fasting, almsgiving, reparation, sacramental life, being in the Word, praying for, being with family members who have gone by the wayside. And so we come back and we start. I joined a practice in Silver Spring, Maryland, where Dr. Bill Hogan was. I sat at his desk. I learned about Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, from the Auschwitz or from the concentration camps. He's a great guy, larger than life. That's my mentor. So many people here. But they didn't see the underserved. And so I moved the practice, thanks for all the folks from Virginia who came to visit me, because everybody said, Johnny, you don't contracept? You don't sterilize? What do you, oh, I teach people about their body. Oh, no, this is great. I'm really good at hormones. I listen to patients. I'm a great breed. I love doing births, even the tough ones. Because right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the middle of a very difficult birth. Imagine the world, the battle between the triumph and Satan's rule. It's there, right in front of us. We're living through it this past weekend, it seemed, and yet, this birth, we know the end. We know Revelation 12. It's real. So we start Tepeyac OBGYN, used to be called Tepeyac Family Center and Divine Mercy Care. And I'll be through in about 5 to 7 minutes, and then we can have some questions if there are any. We opened up, oh no, we'll just be a for-profit practice. We'll just take our margin and just give it away. Mother Teresa, you know, I wrote a book called Two Patients, my journey from abortion to life-affirming medicine through Ignatius Press. It was about that night on labor and delivery, those two patients. But it's also the mother and the child are my two patients. It's the two-patient paradigm which we've lost. Now, I got to be honest with you, in medical schools now, and I've got a bunch of stories, University of Virginia, I give a lecture back in the day for Students for Life. Kid comes down, fourth-year fellow resident. He says, do you actually believe life begins at fertilization? Yeah, of course. Genetically, it's another member of the human family. They're part of us. That's why when I'm a Christian, I'll say they are Father. They're part of us. So you care for them. And you can have a different genetic, you know, there's somebody growing inside someone, but it's not really. You're the first person in all my 12 years of academics that have even believed that. And in most places, it glosses them over. So you have to ask questions. What about embryos? Do you love them or do you own them? If you freeze them, are they your children or are they your property? Because I don't think you should probably be freezing your children, right? Doesn't make any sense to me. Bless you, bless you, bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
We do a perinatal, we started a perinatal hospice program. When children are so sick inside the womb of their mom, and we can see it on ultrasound, we can do the testing, we do our best, bless you again, to care for both patients. But we use the womb as a hospice. And then when it comes out, when the little one comes out, we access it again and see if giving them care is enough, is good. And so I'm going to tell a few stories because I've only got a few more minutes, and it's a perfect way to end it. So perinatal hospice, working with pregnancy resource centers, doing fertility awareness, to the left and to the right. Because this is how you help change people's attitude. It's how you take their shame and you help these young women begin to trust you more than they trust Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood says, no, we're not going to tell your parents. No, we're going to keep this quiet. You're going to lie. Because if you go to the emergency room, you know what? They're going to condemn you if you tell them you just had the abortion pill. Tell them you miscarried. It's one lie after. When can you hear a baby's heartbeat in the uterus of their mom? Anybody?
14 days.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. And what were you
14 days.
14 days after fertilization. Absolutely. But guess what though?
See, even people here
Wrong.
don't know that. He just thought it was 6. So that's from how bad the...
No, the education is bad. But what happens is we have doctors now, the American College of OBGYN, saying that's just a chemical blip. I mean, not a chemical, that's an electrical blip. I know one of you's from MIT. And so, yeah. So, it really, there's no valves. The heart's not fully formed. So therefore, it's not a heart yet. This is the same thing we did when we started parsing out embryos. Oh, it's not a human. It's a potential human. Because once you lose the mooring of logic and language, or for some of us would say, the Immaculate and Sacred Hearts, once you pull away from that, the bark of Peter, or the science, kind of goes to hell in a handbag. So, the language is being altered beneath our feet. The bizarre nature of this, it's not a heartbeat. You tell my mother's, or the mother of the little one in back, when she heard that heartbeat for the first time, that joy, that depth, that doesn't happen with an object. So, last story. So we've had a lot of we've had many doctors, many midwives. We care for a lot of folks at Tepeyac regionally. Yes, ever since the beginning, I raised money for pregnancy resource centers since the middle of 1989. Going around the country and the world, giving talks to either medical students, residents, pregnancy resource centers, some legislators. But it's getting difficult out there at a Pain Capable Act in the state of Virginia, the American College of OBGYN was on the pro-abortion side, I was on the life side, and they came up after I gave my testimony as a grandfather and a father and a doctor and someone who did abortions, that this is barbaric. We should all be giving these folks anesthesia after 14 to 15 weeks. We have to. The connections are there, the receptors, the pathways, the neuroscience. We know this because of the amazing revolution in fetal surgery. We know this. American College got up and said, this guy's crazy. She started making bad jokes about me. She said, all ad hominem attacks. Not once did she argue the data. And then she says, and now we have the capacity to punish him for giving mis and disinformation. We can take away livelihood and licensure. This is where we're at. This is the tension. This is the Civil War. This is the unspoken. But I want to leave you with a great story. I'm walking down, I'm in my hospital room getting chemotherapy for metastatic testicular cancer. I'm getting chemotherapy late one night, and a knock happens on the door, and in walks the doctor who was covering me. Can you imagine? I helped out the abortion practice when they got into trouble with a woman hemorrhaging multiple times. I ran into the room because the code red goes, the stat gets laid out. There's a woman dying from a botched abortion, and I know enough to help save her life. You run towards the trauma. And so 5, 10 times I helped stop bleeding. Woman survived. Oh, by the way, that baby that I tried to suffocate from the story grew up. It survived, and it's a little boy. The one that I told you about, the 2 patients back to back. So, this guy walks in, and he provides abortions. He goes, what the hell did you just do? I just delivered a freaking monster. This kid had no skull. This child, oh my God, it was unbelievable. You almost let this fetus go to term. And then the mother started celebrating its life and passing it around to the other kids, and the baby lived 7 minutes. Are you nuts? This is crazy. I'm not going to help you again. I'm sorry, but I don't care if you have cancer. I'm not going to help you. He walks out. I'm sweating, I'm bald, I'm fluid-filled, trying to process what just happened. Oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to tell you that I do perinatal hospice, and this lady was going to be delivering possibly during this week. 7 years, no, he and I were close friends. We had conversations. Because the best thing you could say to somebody, even in the hospital, is, hey, Jim, what's wrong? I see you're not doing well. You know, this is not where you hate someone. You're trying to care, you're trying to walk with them, accompaniment, this is what it's called. He goes, you actually care about me? You know, you and I don't agree. Well, yeah, I know. He doesn't talk to me for 7 years. 7 years later, about, knock on the door again in my office. Hey, John, it's Jim. Oh, hey, Jim, how are you? Long time no talk. Yeah, so you do remember when I came in here before and cussed you out and messed up your chemotherapy. Yeah, I kind of remember that, Jim. Do you have a minute? Oh, Jim, I always have a minute. I miss talking to you. So did I, John. So did I. You delivered that encephalic back then, remember? The monster that I called it? Johnny, there was more love in that room that night. I'm a really good doctor, and I wanted my patients to have that much love. I wanted that. For all of my patients, the Washington Redskins, the CEOs, the CFOs, the CIOs. He had a great practice. Very, very, very well respected. John, they passed the baby around and loved on it until the child died. There was not a moment that that child was not loved on. You brought perinatal hospice, your practice brought perinatal hospice to this system? Yeah. I want to be a part of that. And oh, by the way, I just want you to know that about 2 months after I took care of you, that night when I let you go in anger, I stopped doing abortions. God is a funny way. He's a funny dude. He brings us around. By the way, that cancer for the folks in back gave me a positive pregnancy test, so I had morning sickness. Yeah, God is a funny dude. I want to thank you so much. We have about 7 or 8 minutes left.
What was the first question?
Yeah, right here.
Thank you. Not really a question, but my twin sister's first kid was delivered by Bill Hogan. And she was volunteering at a pregnancy center in Rhode Island, and that's how I got my first adopted daughter.
Oh my Lord.
So it's a very close relationship.
It's a very small world.
Yes.
I was just at his 90th birthday.
Yeah, he's still alive, right?
He is.
Yeah.
And
Adversary.
it was his anniversary, his 50th anniversary, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Bill Colleton was on the
Bill
Maryland Right to Life. He's
no,
passed
no,
away.
Bill Colleton, Bill Hogan, Jim Hartley. Yeah, really tremendous practice.
Right.
And then Paul McCauley came to work for us across the river as his practice was winding down. So it was really wonderful.
Small world.
It is a small world. Anybody else? Gynecologists don't get a lot of questions after in an
Could you
audience.
go, earlier you mentioned you'd gone to those early marches for life as a high school student,
Yes.
growing up in North Jersey, and obviously that had an impact on you. Your wonderful mom and dad. Later your mom took you to Medjugorje. But obviously there's a lot of young people who went to those marches for life who didn't turn out to be great pro-life people. Comment on the problem with our Catholic schools.
Sure. So I can tell you that everything that when I saw my whole life pass before me, everything that my mom and dad did, said, acted, I could recall it. Every single piece. And I was so grateful for the fact that they pushed the truth Torah, life beginning at conception, the church's teaching, Our Lady, John the Baptist, whose birthday we're celebrating, I think, tomorrow, leaping in the womb of his mother. Tremendous. Well, and as soon as I got into our Catholic school system into the 60s and 70s, everything was kind of dumbed down, meaning there was no formation. You didn't understand the why or the how. And remember, I was an altar boy on the old Latin Mass for only about 2 weeks.
Right.
There was no more Baltimore Catechism. You didn't learn answers to questions. It was just fear-based. Some of the bishops that we were having at the time who were confirming us back in Jersey turned out to be pretty tough, poor actors. And so there was this whole underground of not providing support to the parents who sent their children into the school system.
Absolutely. It was
And
counter to the.
It was actually counter to it.
Yeah.
And so when I finally started doing my formation as an older man, and my, reading commentaries on scripture as an older man, I could absolutely hear my mom and dad, and they had a chance to see me be a life-affirming, pro-life OBGYN, and they were so happy. I was able to take my dad to Poland to speak at a conference on the family. Well, we're all 4 of us are Polish. He was my speaker. They would ask me questions in Polish. He would translate. We were on TV for a while. The family loved it. But to give back to my parents, because you begin to find mercy, you begin to find forgiveness, you begin to find penance you begin to find reparation because of your being loved. And that's, no matter how we teach the faith or the science, there has to be love, or else you're a clanging gong. And that love is what really transformed when I look back. And I've, in my own post-abortion issues, you got to forgive. You know?
Absolutely.
And, but I can tell you that I'm so grateful to my mom and dad for being so steadfast in the faith, so wounded, their tears, their crying out in the middle of the night. The Psalms, they're real. They're not for the faint of heart. And then the love, the acceptance when you come home as the prodigal. Totally accepted. We never even talked about it. I tried to. They didn't want to hear it. Old Polish people. No, 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 this is good, Johnny. So, anything else? Yes, sir.
I have actually a very difficult question. I was conceived in rape, 14-year-old girl, and my testimony has gone somewhat viral online, and I spend a lot of time defending my life online. And what I always hear is, well, a 12-year-old girl or a 14-year-old girl or a 13-year-old girl getting pregnant is going to kill her. How valid is that, and how would you respond to people who try to argue that?
So, the answer to that is no. It's medically false. It's fear-based. Because the damage, and remember, it's an atrocity for a 14-year-old to either have incest or rape. But remember, the brutality, the memory, the pain, the injustice, the violence happens before the abortion. The abortion just adds to it. How many people do I take care of who have bad sex lives? Because they were in consensual or maybe consensual relationships over the course of their life. And they are hurting. Their intimacy issues are difficult at best. Now you ramp that up a fold. And so the damage occurs before. And deep inside, no matter if they're 12, 15, you meet with them, you accompany them, you walk with them, you care for both.
Will giving birth hurt them?
No. You care for the woman just like you care for anybody else. You measure the size of the child. What's her pelvis like? How mature is she physiologically? How big is her pelvis? When we do examine as a midwife, we measure the spines, the ischial spines, the transpubic diagonal. You can tell. Now, if you have to take the baby out through a section, you do it. Why? Because it's safe, it's effective, and we repair. I'm in a practice where we repair everything in 2 layers. Why? Because some of our friends have had 12 C-sections safely. Once again, there's risks either way. And so the damage occurs before. You definitely prosecute the man as far as you can, because that's the but to add abortion to kill the developing child, this young woman is going to grow up. And she's going to deal with her issues in many different ways, as I'm sure your mom did. I'm so grateful to meet you, because when they, that question comes up a lot, because they constantly push these questions to the edge and then try to make them sound absurd, as if we don't care. Yes,
Can I add to that?
please go.
We have people come to the abortion home, and that's the big thing. It's feelings. It's feelings. And what about the poor girl's feelings? But my friends and I talked a girl out of abortion. She had 8 children. Her husband left her. She went to work at the races in West Virginia. While she was there, she was raped. She became pregnant with her 9th child. She came out to the abortion room to have her abortion, and we kept talking to her. And she said, my mother took me to the hospital for the morning after pill, but it didn't take. And we said it didn't take because God didn't want it to take, because he said, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. I knit you in your mother's womb. And we told her, the women who go through rape or incest, they're the victims.
Yes.
But when they make their own child the victim, they feel 100 times worse.
Yes.
Because in the first place, they're the innocent victims, but then they make their own child who cannot even fight back, the innocent victim, and then they feel that guilt for the rest of their lives. And also Deuteronomy 30:19.
Bingo.
I set before you life or death, blessings or curses. Choose life so that you and your children may live. Until when you choose life, you choose blessings. When you choose death, you choose curses on your life. And also, we also say that people would love to adopt you to be a hero and give them that baby and make their life special if you cannot do it yourself. But don't go through this horrible process
Correct.
because it'll make you end up.
That's beautiful. Also, in my residency, after my change of heart, late one night, a young lady comes in. I said, so where do you live? She goes, oh, San Diego. She's in Norfolk, Virginia. I go, like San Diego, Virginia? No, San Diego, California. What are you doing here? I wanted to come here to deliver my baby. Okay, that sounds reasonable. How many pregnancies have you had? Oh, 11. 11. How many children do you have? None. Well, you know, I live in Compton. I've been raped 10 times. I'm tired. I don't want to do it again. I want to be known as a mother that didn't take it out on my child. Guess what? The placenta comes off the wall of the uterus, fine, miracle. She kisses the baby, gives it to the nurses, says, see you later, young one. I've got to go home now. What do you mean you got to go home now? I've got work like in 2 days. I need to leave. She got in her car a few hours after birth, totally stable, as happy as can be, and drove back home. And I can tell you the hug that I received, you don't forget it. So thank you for your question, and thank you for your love.
And so she gave up her baby for adoption?
She gave her baby up for adoption. She just said, she says, I can't do this anymore. And I can tell you that her chance of having a placental problem, because these were all surgical scrapes. She was probably 44 when I saw her. Amazing. As happy as can be.
John, tell us more about Eastern Virginia. As a resident, were you forced to perform abortions?
No, so in today's world, you have to opt out of abortion training. Remember, there's a real big, I'll be right with you. Yeah. Right now, the reason why we're going to chemical abortions is because we can get around the law, or they can get around the law in the different states, and then ship it, right? Telehealth, you know, it's all done, you know, sleight of hand.
Yeah.
Well, now you have to opt out of abortion training in most centers. Why? Because there's a decrease, there's a dearth of surgical abortionists. There's not many. And they now have what they call advanced family practice specialties. One's in San Francisco, I think one's at Harvard, one's at Wayne State, of 3 out of the several. They have to train people to do this. They have to do a better job, and because they now can recruit nurses, nurse practitioners, midwives. Why? Because they're legal professionals. Because doctors don't do it. It's unseemly. It's in the, back then, you know, our department was run by 2 wonderful, famous, Dr. Georgiana and Howard Jones from Johns Hopkins University. They're considered small g gods in the OBGYN world. They were the ones that pushed in vitro fertilization, and the sheer number of the what's the right word? It's not efficient. You need to create many embryos just to get a few. And now that we could freeze them, they're now in limbo. Millions across the country. And so what happens is that they were good Anglican folks. I came back from my change of heart, and they said, and I walked into her office, I said, Dr. Georgiana, I can't do this anymore. I can't abort, I can't. She goes, oh no, you found Jesus. I said, yeah, I did. Please don't talk about it. Don't spread it. And so that check, but it was sad, but you could see them struggling because they wanted that part of the Christian life is, oh,
we're all going to heaven.
We're all going to heaven. Life, helping people have children is a good thing, as we've heard recently.
Yeah.
But yes, it was back then, you just had to opt in. You had to find people because it's in the shadows. Abortion, even though they want to say it's a sacrament, it's got to be shouted. Yes, be proud of it. Can't do it. Most people can't because it's dark, it's sad, it's shaming, it's controlling. That's why we're seeing so many of the, then there were, and then there were none, and the women who have come through their surgical abortion with post-abortion syndrome. Well, can you imagine what's going to happen with chemical abortion? They're seeing it in their toilet, in their bed, in their hallway, in their bathroom, and when you clean it up, because I watched someone that I gave, because we were doing RU-486 back in the day, they scoop it up, there's a moment, and they flush. We're adding that on top of this. So yes, those folks like yourself who are right on the front lines, this is going to be the wave of pain that's coming now with chemical abortions. Yes, sir, I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
Can you talk about the relationship between abortion and vaccines?
I probably don't have enough time.
You have enough time.
I don't have the data off the tip of my tongue right here, but I can tell you that the nanoparticles getting into the fluid around the egg and also the fat aspects of spermatogenesis in the male testicle, there's data coming in now over and over and over again that the fertility impact from the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, the mRNA spike protein version, we are just now beginning to get real hard data. It's very hard to do it at the time. And yet people were beginning to talk about it then, saying, hey, we don't even test this on pregnant women. Are you kidding me? And now you're forcing it on pregnant women and young women and children. There's data coming out from all over the world now to show that not only is fertility decreased, but miscarriage rates are increased. And some places talk about as high as 80%. I'm sure in the next year, the incredible amount of data is going to increase on that very side. And so I appreciate the question. It's real.
One last question. Tell us more about this wonderful lady in Eastern Virginia who had a lot to do with your conversion.
You're talking about Dr. Debbie Plum. She is she's a Christian Catholic lady who was one of the head neonatologists. You know, in today's day and age, this doctors that are specialized in caring for the littlest, the sickest, the most premature infants born, are oftentimes some of the most pro-choice, because they think that they're just wasting time and money where it would have been better off if the child wasn't there. She was not one of those. She was young, she was articulate, she was brilliant. All of us were afraid of her because she was intimidating. She challenged you to push. No, come on, think through it. What's the diagnosis? Be solid. Guys, come on, make the diagnosis. What's the treatment? How do we care for this child? Outstanding woman. And she has suffered personally in her life. And that morning, or early that morning, when she came in to challenge me, she did it as naturally and as straightforward as possible. She took one look. She saw that I had aborted this child. I did not check this child's heartbeat. For hours, I pitted this kid and didn't give a damn about whether it was alive or dead. I treated it like a tumor. And that's the phrase she used. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know that what you do by your witness can make a difference. Just like it happened to me. Now, she was the one, because she's in the same hospital with me, and she says, hey, do you want to have coffee? Have coffee with me tomorrow. It was like an order. Yes, ma'am, I'll be there. What are we going to talk about? She quickly talked medicine, and then she went right into faith. And she challenged me. And after I wrote the book, and I went to go visit her, and I've spoken several times now in that area, at Regent University, at Eastern Virginia, at some churches. I raised money for some pregnancy resource centers down there. She's a wonderful woman. She's still very humble. She doesn't think it's a big deal. She was just being herself. And I want to encourage all of you, I just want to leave you all with, you make sure that anybody here who is watching over the ether, I just want you to know that this organization is truly a tour of truth. And it's done in love. And it's done with clarity and compassion and calmness and connectedness and compassion. I want to thank them for this invitation, and I want to thank you all for tuning in. Anybody out there who's interested in medicine, midwifery, nursing, nurse practitioners, physician's assistant, anything to do with healthcare, please contact, you can contact myself at Dr. D.R.J. Bruchalski, Bruchalski, at Divine Mercy Care, all one word, .org. And maybe we can accompany one another, because we need you. We need you very much so right now to enter into the world of excellent, integrated, holistic, compassionate, collaborative medicine. Actually listening to the women that come before us in OBGYN, listening to what they need, where their heart is, what's going on, not only in the body, but inside their soul and in their psyche. The word lev, L-E-V, is a Hebrew word that means heart. But in Hebrew, it also means heart, gut, and womb, your deepest self. And I think if God's called you into medicine today, we need you in the vineyard. So thank you all so much. Jack, thank you so much for this. God bless you all.
Thank you, John. Wow, what a fantastic talk. Ladies and gentlemen, very soon that'll be posted at defendlife.org and on YouTube. So take it, watch it again, and share it with all your friends across the world. Thank you, Dr. John Bruchalski. Hey, one closing comment. Over here, you could focus on this, Mark. We're dedicating our first tribute tour to two heroes. That's Nancy Bradford up the top. Nancy was our director for Face the Truth Tours 4 through 7, way back in the early 2000s. Remember, I met with her at McDonald's, and I said she wanted to be the director. I said, well, I'll think about it. She said, no, I really want to do it. And that's the gumption we need to be. I really want to do it. I really want to fight abortion. I really want to save lives. God bless Nancy. You lost her a couple months ago. And then there's the great Olga Fairfax. And Olga was with us last year. She just loved doing it. She was a former Presbyterian minister, or United Methodist minister, excuse me. Became a Catholic. She would leaflet, and leafleting is very important. So when she would park about a block away from wherever she was going shopping, medical appointment, she would leaflet all the cars from there to the building where she was going. And she would always put her name and her phone number on that piece of literature. And then on the way back to her car, she'd do the same thing. God bless you, Olga Fairfax. She died tragically in a fire in her home last November. Pray for the immortal soul of both these wonderful women, Nancy Bradford and Olga Fairfax. This is Jack Ames for Defend Life. And remember, tomorrow we have 3 more great speakers. Actually, tomorrow it'll be Angela Clark, the head of one of the best pregnancy centers in America. She'll be our speaker again at 2 p.m. And then on Wednesday, it'll be Father Dennis Wild speaking about our new Pope, Leo XIV. Then on Thursday, it'll be Lauren Hardy, one of the Garland Nine, talking about her 2 years of incarceration for doing the right thing. Remember, many times when you do the right thing, you're going to be punished for it, but so be it. And then on Friday, you're going to have Heather Keene coming all the way from Boston talking about Baby Match. This is Jack Ames from St. Mary's Church in Hagerstown, Maryland. Thank you.
Hooray.